What's going on, guys? Arash here with ECOM Advantage. I just want to go over my store's profit and revenue for last month. I did about 76,000 in revenue. And I'll show you guys the breakdown of all the profits and my Facebook ads, the spend, everything like that. So it should be a really valuable video. So let's get into it. Anyway, so my store is it's pretty early right now. I mean, it's not a great day. I have 20 orders. Usually, at this point, I would definitely have some more, but I mean, it's only 2 o'clock. So let's get into last month. So as you can see, 76 grand in total sales. And I'll just do a quick refresh so you guys can see. Actually had about almost 7% return in customers, which is decent. Usually get about 10%, but that's not bad. Here's a really good thing. Here is the 4.8, almost 5% conversion rate. That's really good for a Shopify store, considering the average is about 1 to 2%. So I had about 1,350 orders, and so let's go over to my order metrics. This is I'm sure you guys have seen order metrics. If you haven't, it's invaluable. You have to have this if you're running a business on Shopify. It's gonna show you all your numbers, so you're not guessing. You're not trying to calculate every day by doing this and that. So as you can see, 76,000 revenue. This actually pulls your COGS, your cost of goods sold from Shopify. It actually syncs it, which is fantastic. So let's see, shipping cost, shipping charge. This is actually revenue. This is extra shipping that I charge customers if they want. I actually only charge like $1.95, sometimes $2.95. I change it up and test it if they want tracking and basically insurance on their product, on their shipment. And the way I do that is, if they're gonna, if it gets lost or something like that, I'm gonna replace it anyways. But I mean, it's just extra revenue. I definitely recommend you set that up. So here's my ad spend, 21,000, and it's all Facebook ads. Let's see, average order profit, $28, and net margin was 21%. This is, I don't know what all the other gurus are saying. Trying to get 30-40%. It's just when you're scaling up to higher numbers. If you're doing like 20-30 grand, yeah, it's possible to get 30%. This is actually a higher price item. It's about $60. So, it's a little tougher to get a buy. It's not like a $15-20 product, but still 21% is good. And that's not really actually all of it, because I'll show you a little later how I was able to get some more money, not from Shopify, but some other ways that are just invaluable. You have to do that. So net profit, 15,736. It's actually a bit more. So let's check out the breakdown here. So that's the revenue. It's actually 16,170 profit, because if you remember that shipping charge, you add that to that number. And then this is where I made an extra almost $1,300 from Admitad. If you guys haven't heard of Admitad, it's an affiliate network. This is one of the reasons that I still use. I have a guy that does my fulfillment, and it really makes sense to me than doing CSV orders, because I mean, look, I make $1,231 from doing nothing. You know what I mean? That's basically just free money. I just set it up with Dropify. You sign up with the affiliate network, and every sale you get through AliExpress, you get a percentage. It's it can go as high as 8%. So you have to do this, and I'm paying my VA $50 per 500 orders. So do the math. It makes a lot more sense to continue to do that. So if I'm getting 50, 60 orders a day, which is on average, it's still worth it. I would say once you get over 100, you know, then it's probably time to move on to a CSV. This is another nice thing about having the type of store I have, which I'll explain. It's a niche store. Is This is not a lot of money. I get this, but I just started doing this, and I'm really not that great at affiliate marketing as far as email goes. But I set up some easy flows using my autoresponder, and I went to ClickBank, as you can see here, and I set up 2 affiliate offers. You know, I'm going to set up some more. Just got to find time to do that. 2 affiliate offers. I set up some automatic emails. It sends them out after they order. You know, I usually wait until like 14, 15 days to make sure they already got it and are happy with it, and then they start getting this email flow, and people are signing up, and I'm getting affiliate commissions. I made $282. Nothing crazy, but you know, anytime you can add to your bottom line, you want to do that because it's tough to make a profit with Shopify. All right, so let's go over the store a bit. It is a niche store, and the thing is, it has a very passionate audience, and I really believe if you want a long-term brand, if you want a long-term business, the niche store is the way to go. I mean, general stores do work. Everything they all kind of work, but I mean, when you have a general store, you're chasing trends. You're looking for the next hot product. It's difficult to find. It's difficult to scale. And this is difficult to maintain long term. I want something where I'm going to have a business, and I'm going to brand it, and I'm going to get to the point where I sell it for a huge sum, have an exit, rinse and repeat. Just keep doing the same thing over again. General stores are good for testing, but the way I go about things, I find a great product, and I really go all out with that product. I don't mess around with doing 20 tests a day with one product. I mean, you can't really put everything you have into your marketing, into your product page, into you know, your videos and your creatives when you're testing that many things. You know what I mean? When you have a winner, and it's hard to find the winner when you're doing that also, because you know, I mean, just imagine you're on Facebook, and you see some shitty ad, and then you go to some site and it looks like garbage. And this is what I see all the time. I see beginners getting into this, and they're expecting to make sales. I mean, would you buy from these stores? Of course you would. You know, half of them look like scams. So you want to brand your store. You want to look legit. You want to be legit. You know, I mean, we're not trying to scam people. We're running a real business here. And that's the biggest mistake people make. They don't treat it like a business. They treat it like some get rich quick or just make some cash kind of thing. And I mean, if you look at a lot of these general stores, you see a lot of people that use them as examples. Most of them are gone. You'll come back and they'll click on it, and the stores are gone. So, I mean, this is my opinion. This is my experience. I find that it's a long-term plan, and of course, it takes more work, but there's long-term benefits too. Like I said, you're building an audience that you can keep selling to. I don't just sell one product. I have one main product, but I sell other products as well. And then you're always going to have that audience that just keeps growing. And I have about, I think, like 8,000 people on my email list. Have to get better at that. I'm working on. You should email your list at least once a week, and I definitely have been doing that. So I'm guilty of it's not laziness. It's just one of the things I don't enjoy. I really enjoy everything else about e-commerce. I just not into marketing. I did hire a guy, and he didn't really do that great. So, anyways, so passionate audience. That's the thing. I mean, someone sees an ad on Facebook, they're not looking for this product. So the product has to really get them excited, has to make them feel like they have to have it. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be, it doesn't just have to be a unique product. It has to be just a product that's going to improve their life in some way. So when I found this product, so I got into a niche that I was slightly familiar with. So it made it a little bit easier. I've done other niches that I'm not familiar with, and I still had success. So That's not a prerequisite. You don't have to be passionate about it, but it definitely helps. So it's a 5-star product on Amazon, on AliExpress. It's just a great product. Nobody else was selling this. I was the first one on Facebook, and then I've had tons of copycats, but they all failed because I hit the ground running, and I have so much data that they can't compete. And then I see general stores trying to sell it, which is ridiculous. So, anyways, one product stores are good too. You just have to, your branding has to be on point. You can't cut corners there either. Your store has to look great. It's tough with a one product store because you're putting all that work into just one store, and then it's hard to branch out to a lot of other products. You're kind of stuck with that one thing too. So, but I would go with niche stores and one product stores. General stores are tough for beginners. They really are. I know people say you're pigeonholing yourself with a niche store, but if you do it right and you really and you don't cut corners, you'll be fine. Another thing is I swear by this because it's improved my conversion rate so much. I used to have like a 3%. Now it's up to almost 5. Is I use Zipify pages to create a long page sales form. That's the thing. That's the key. You have to sell people on this product. So if you go to Zipify, this is actually the one I used, and I modified it. I made it a little bit better. I did get rid of like the countdown timer and stuff like that, and I really sold the product. Look at this thing. This is what you want. You want to be able to have this one page. So it's almost like a one product store, but not really. You still have all the benefits of being able to sell other things also. So, but basically, I use Zipify, and I saw like a almost 2% bump in my conversion, and it's really helped sell the product because you can put so much information here. And it's not, and I got rid of a lot of this stuff up here because I don't want to distract people too much. I want them to just, it's almost like a funnel. It's similar to like ClickFunnels, but definitely use that, and you'll see that it helps more than anything in your conversion. So if you're getting 200-300 people to your store and you're not getting any sales, there's a problem. You should at least get some. As you can see, let's see, go to home. And like I said, today's not great. So I got another sale since I started, but you can see, 673 people, and I got 20 orders. It's not great, but definitely better than a lot of stores. You know what I mean? So if you look at the analytics for today. 3%. So it went down a lot since yesterday, but and you can see like I get almost 10% return in customers, which is really good too. So moving on, let's see, guys. So I forgot to mention this product actually ships from U.S. warehouses, and I do use AliExpress, but they have the product in stock in their U.S. warehouses. I think they have 2-3 warehouses that they ship from. And here's the thing: I can't do the whole ship from China thing. That's not a long-term model. That's you're going to get negative reviews. You're going to get a bad store rating on Facebook, and that's going to drive your ad costs way up. And basically, you're going to have unhappy customers, and you don't want that. I treat my customers like gold. That's my number one priority. So when you find a product, a lot of times you're going to see that there is someone on AliExpress that does have some stock in the U.S. It's happening more and more. You're going to find a lot of it. One tip I do have is if you're trying to find a winning product and it's not in the U.S., what you can do in the early stages is you can actually dropship from eBay using Dropify. Dropify started doing this year, and it works great. I have My niche store has tons of products. I think I have like over 40 products, and not all of them are available through AliExpress from U.S. shipping. So I just take those and that I see people do buy, and I drop ship from eBay. And I mean, 90% of the time it's the same prices and even cheaper. And you're gonna get fast shipping in less than a week, and your customers are gonna be happy. Now, I've worked out a deal with my AliExpress vendor because I do a good amount of orders. They actually they give me some VIP treatment, so they ship everything within 24 hours. And if they don't, I get upset and I threaten to leave because I got other people knocking down the door who are constantly, they see you're doing over 1,000 a month, and that's really good to them because it's actually pretty rare for someone that can do that. I mean, the same store I've been selling for over a year, so when they get that constant revenue, that's something that they really need. It actually keeps them employed because they have their numbers to beat also. Um, so that's the thing. You gotta ship from the U.S. Some way or another. I don't even mess with worldwide shipping and all that stuff. Barely any other countries are really buying from what I see. I mean, the U.S. is where it's at. I do wish I could sell to Canada and the big four, big five. But either way, there's more than enough sales to be made in the U.S. and this is the best economy in the world, and this is where people are going to buy from. So let's get into the costs and everything for the product. Um, it's about $60, $59.99 on my store, and it costs me about $30 to fulfill. And like I said, I usually get about like $1.50, $1.80 from Admitat for each order also. So that definitely helps out. My break even ROAS is 2. You know, I use my little handy Excel sheet here. $60, 30 to fulfill. Break even is going to be 2. I'm normally getting above 3 on average throughout all my ad sets. So that's what I end up with. 20% profit margins. So, all right, let's get into the Facebook ads. One thing you want to do is make sure you are running new ads every single day. If you take a break from running ads, your business will tank. I'm telling you right now. You cannot stop running ads. You can't ever stop testing. You're going to find big winners in ad sets by testing. So constantly test every single day. I mean, you don't have to do huge numbers. But at least a few ad sets every day. And sometimes, at least once a week, I'll bust out 20 ad sets in one day, 30 ad sets. And the thing is, I mean, you don't have to let these these ad sets run. You cut them off when they hit certain metrics. So that I was in the middle of recording and my freaking computer completely blue screened and crashed and couldn't get it back up. So switched to my laptop. So, anyways, back to where I was. So when you're running your Facebook ads, like I said, you wanna run ads every single day. Um, uh, you know, just test a few new ads at least every day. You want to just keep them going. Um, I always start with purchase conversion. I know a lot of people say, just do PPE or add to cart or any of that stuff. No, you want to go straight to the purchase. Facebook is smart enough to get you what you're asking for. If you ask for a bunch of add to carts, that's what you're gonna get. Like you're gonna get one purchase and tons of add to carts. Like Facebook is that intelligent of a system. So go straight to purchase. Trust me, when you get the product right, and your funnel's right, and your ads are right, you make sure you're running video ads. You will get purchases. It's just a matter of down the line becoming profitable and getting your ROAS where it needs to be. Um, I do run PPE, but that's just for engagement. You will rarely get any purchases. I can run $1,000 in PPE and get like 10 purchases. It's nothing
great. But it is needed for engagement. You want that engagement. It helps lower your CPM, and it's definitely something you have to run alongside your purchase conversion campaigns. One thing a lot of people don't talk about is retargeting in the beginning. You want to retarget right away. You don't want to wait too long because you're gonna make a lot of your money from retargeting and a lot of your uh, conversions that are actually really inexpensive. Like you can get $3 purchases with running retargeting. So right away, I want to start retargeting using um, the video views, 75%, 95%, because those people already saw your ad, and you're gonna be able to retarget them at a much lower cost. CBOs, I don't use them. I, I can't stand them. I've been talking about them for a while and how I was pretty much guaranteed that they're going to push back CBOs and not have them mandatory for September. So unless you're 100% basically like vested into the CBOs, which to me CBOs are trash right now. I don't know why they don't work. Maybe it's just my account. I don't know because one thing, all Facebook accounts are a little bit different. All ad accounts are different. They've just never worked for me. I've tested them 100 times. They'll work for like a day or two, and then they'll just become trash into the point where I'm just losing so much money. I can't. I just have to turn them off. They're just not ready. Like you'll see, like your top um, performing ad set is getting like the least amount of traffic, and then like another one that's getting a ton of ad spend and it has had no purchases, and it's getting like 75% of the purchase, and there's nothing you can do about it. So to me, it's just terrible. All right, so let's get into my ad account. Um, this is this is just for today. Let's go back to July 1st. So let's see, July 1st. So what I always do is, I have three different campaigns, sometimes four. I break it down with, I have my cold interest campaigns, basically. Um, these are the ones where no one's seen your ads, and you're trying to get some eyes on your ads. I have a campaign for my warm, hot retargeting, and then I'll have a separate PPE campaign. Sometimes I'll have another campaign just for like scaling, but I like to keep a lot of um, everything running in one campaign because one thing people talk about is the whole uh, seasoning your pixel. I mean that's a fallacy. It's not true. There's no seasoning of the pixel. You have to the pixel is just a tracker. It's just tracking um, conversions and clicks and add to carts and everything like that. I mean, you have to have your pixel obviously, but all the optimization is done on the campaign, ad set, and ad account level. That's so when someone says seasoning your pixel, I think that was something like 2016 where that was actually a thing. Where now it's really just a tracker. So, anyways, let's see, July 1st. Let's go back see if I can look at some things. So that day, I mean, I wasn't spending a lot. Uh, $329 in ad spend. Got about 28 purchases, but I mean, really good ROAS, almost five ROAS there. And here I was just running a bunch of um, single interest campaigns. I mean, I already have a lot of data, so honestly, a lot of my assets are lookalike audiences because if you go back, actually, I had, let's see, I still had a decent month in June. It wasn't anything crazy, but nothing working today. Sorry, guys, one second. go back. June I did almost 50,000, so not bad. But I've been running the store for a while now. There was, it took me a long time to really learn Facebook ads. Facebook ads are not easy. They're it's a learning process. You're not gonna just jump in the game and start being profitable right away. You can make sales. You will probably lose money for at least the first month. Sometimes even more, depending on how long it takes you to really grasp it. Like it took me a few months to start really getting it, um, and I'm a quick study, and it's difficult. Like it's also hard to start spending a lot of money, which Facebook does require. I mean, I still use business credit cards and all that, so cash flow is not an issue. But these months like this, like you got to spend 30 grand in costs, and another 15 or so in Facebook ads, and there's a lot of cost involved. And a lot of people want to get started and they don't even have any capital or even credit, so it can be tough. You can get started for a small amount, but to me, you need at least a few $1,000s. You're not gonna get started with $100 or even $500. You're gonna have to spend some money to get some data and to start seeing if things are really working. If you're afraid to lose money, this is not for you. It's really not. Any business, you have to have a lot of upfront capital to start a brick and mortar business. You're talking just a couple $1,000s to get started in an online business, which beats any brick and mortar business out there. It really does because of the freedom that it provides. So, but anyways, so I had some data. So clearly, I was running a lot of lookalikes. Let's see. So that day, yeah, actually looks like that day it was mostly, yeah. There's some lookalikes. One thing I'll mention, I've noticed in the last 3 or 4 months that the best performing lookalikes are not the 1% anymore. They just don't work. I don't know what it is. So what I recommend is uh, start with 2% and up. Like some of my best performing lookalikes are 2, 3, 5%, um, sometimes even 10%. You really have to test everything. You want to test everything from 1 to 10. I don't really do the 1 to 2%, 2 to 3%. I like to have 1%, 2%, 3% because uh, Facebook really likes big audiences. It needs a lot of data to work with, a lot of people to um, to help you get purchases. So
All right, now we're looking at July 2nd. So looks like the next day took up the ad spend quite a bit, up to almost $600, and got 39 purchases for 3.66 ROAS, which is great. Yeah, at this point, I'm just adding as many ads as possible, cutting the bad ones, and then the good ones ride. Let's go to the next day. 649, 48 purchases, still really good ROAS. Let's go into some of these ads. Yeah, you can see some really good ads here. Getting some high ROAS here. I mean, this one spent $29 and got 6 purchases, 11 ROAS, which is just insane. So I'm not testing, you know, with huge numbers yet. I'm running a lot of ads, um, smaller numbers, and then I like to scale with duping, and I also raise the budget. It works both ways, honestly. I just don't raise it a lot. I set up rules where it'll go about 20% every other day, as long as the ROAS is is not just profitable, but um, pretty decent. Not like break even. So, all right, let's move on to fourth. About the same. ROAS dropped quite a bit here. I think on a day like this would have been, I'm just pumping out tons of new ads and seeing what sticks, and a lot of them were probably not working, so I had to kill some. It's also Thursdays, and Thursdays usually just really suck. ROAS dropped a bit here, still profitable. Remember, my break evens is 2, so still at 3. Let's see. 2.84 still really good. Looks like I'm testing a lot of cold interest also here. Also, let's go back. I'm actually not. Yeah, so I got some retargeting going here, but it's not really working too well that day. Go to 7th. Ad spend went up a good amount, almost $800, almost 60 purchases. 4.3 ROAS, really good day. 3,300. Let's check it out. So one thing I want to mention is don't wait until your actual creatives, your ads, your videos start dying. What I like to do is, every 2 weeks or so, I gotta create a new one. I created it myself, or I actually got some guys on Fiverr. They do a really good job. You just have to guide them a bit. But I actually use promo.com. That's a really good software. It's kind of pricey. It's like $80 a month, but you can create some really professional looking videos. So I use that. I use Animoto. They're both really good. So I'm just always pumping out new videos, testing new thumbnails. You wanna have, for each ad set, you wanna have at least 3 videos. Sometimes it more, and test it. And you'll notice like almost every ad set is a little different. One ad set, like one creative will just kill it, and the other ones won't. So you start turning those off and let that one run. And what also happens, is over time your ads will start to die. Your creatives will start to die. So you always want to have new ones coming in. Sometimes I'll add them to existing ad sets that are doing well, or I'll create new ad sets and just have the new ones in there so they can start getting engagement. I'll always run PPE to them and see which ones are doing well as far as getting purchases and having a profitable ROAS. And then some of them are just duds. You'll see some of them are just not really good. They're not resonating with your audience, so you just kill those completely. But I always have at least 4 or 5 videos in rotation because people they'll get ad blind. They'll see the same video over and over again, and they'll just ignore it. But they see a new one. Sometimes that one is the one that gets them to click over and make a purchase. And it is true. Like people usually don't purchase the first time, so they want to get familiar with your brand. They want to see that you're everywhere. The more you're on Facebook with different creatives, the better. So because it might take them, I think statistically, it takes like 5 interactions with your brand until they make a purchase, which makes sense. To me, it's been more like 2. From what I've noticed, just looking at my stats. So, also let's break down some things as far as Facebook ads. So, like I said, definitely run your lookalikes as soon as you can. Once you get like 50 purchases, you want to start running the purchase, the add to carts. Before that, you can run website views, all the video ones. One that really works great for me is the click call to action button for Facebook. That one works really well. I test 1 to 10% on that and see which ones do well. Let's see. Moving on. I'm not gonna go through like every single day, but just gonna go through some of these days. Like here's another really good day. $700 spent, 46 purchases. You can see a lot of them are just getting really good ROAS. This one right here is a 5% initiate checkout, 180-day lookalike, which I also so I'll have the 5% lookalike, so that's a pretty big lookalike, but then I'll also add some interest along with it. But I try to keep the entire thing above like 3 million people. So 5%, and then also add create interest to it. So if you got a 5% lookalike, and then it's in the dog niche, whatever, then you want to have some other interest in there also. But you might have to add a few of them, some like broad interests, so that you have it over 3 million. I've noticed that works really well. As you can see, I spent $150 and got 12 purchases, almost 5 ROAS. Then I see here I'll also have, I don't like to stack too many, especially like when you're testing out. You want to do single interest. You don't want to put a whole bunch of interest together, because it's really hard to tell which one is actually working. So but then as you start scaling, you do want to get your audiences pretty big. The bigger the better is what I've noticed, because you'll get purchases at a good cost for smaller ones, but you're not really able to scale them, past like $50 a day. So, all right, guys. So I want to go over a scaling technique I really like. It's brought me some amazing ROAS. It's basically using a lifetime budget instead of a daily budget for your lookalike audience. And you want to do this with, you don't have to do it with just lookalikes. Actually, you could do this with take your best single interest audiences, stack them, make a pretty large audience, at least a few million, 2-3 million, and then manual bid. And let me just show you what I mean by this. I'll just go to one of my test ad accounts here. So let's see. So if you're to create a campaign, an ad set, I'm going to do website conversions, obviously. Wow, my laptop is not handling this recording very well. So, purchase, and this is, you would put in your targeting, whatever it may be. This is, I was testing some, I was testing that bottle, that water bottle for dogs that everybody was testing. Couldn't really get it to work. I like to start, whenever I test a new audience or a new ad set, I like to start with auto. I've noticed that when I do auto, it actually lowers my CPM a decent amount, and then I'll break it down later by if Instagram is working or Facebook's working, and whichever one's doing the best, I'll run that, and I'll see sometimes even the audience network will give me some decent purchases. It doesn't really spend a lot of money, so it doesn't really hurt to have it on. And I do like to run to desktop also, because for my audience, it just seems to work. So this is what I'm talking about. You would take daily budget, turn it into lifetime budget, and I would set it to $2,000. That sounds like a lot, but what you're going to do is you're going to spread it over like a 2-week period. So this would go to like, sorry, not August, 17th. So I'll go to like the 31st, right? And then This is something you have to test on your own. For me, one day click works best. And then, so we have it set to 2,000, and we're gonna let them run for 2 weeks. So it'll be about 1,000 a week, which is nothing crazy. And then I'll do. Um, so let's say for your manual bid, let's say your break even is $25, which in my case, I think that's about what it was. $25. So what I would do is I would double that. I put 50, and you do want to play around with this because sometimes you'll get better performance a little bit lower or higher. You want to find that sweet spot. So if it's not working well, sometimes I'll take it up, and then if it's spending too much and not getting enough purchases at a good cost, I'll take it down a bit. So do that one day click, let it run, and it's always worked out well for me. If it doesn't work with that audience, try it with a few different ones, or some LLAs. Like take your best lookalike and switch it to do this method. It's a great scaling technique. It's always worked really well for me. Moving along. So July 9th, looking at $688 spent with 38 purchases, 3.3 ROAS, $2,300. Another good day. Actually, let me go back. More than that. I had a few purchases with retargeting. I had 4 purchases. Nothing crazy, but you definitely want to be doing your retargeting. It's crucial. I mean, I start with $5 a day, and retarget everything from 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, and even like 60 to 90 days for basically everything. Video views, add to carts, initiate checkout, engage your ad, just test everything, and you'll see which ones really work out for you. While we're on the topic of retargeting, I just want to go over a few things. So this is retargeting to really make the difference, for you being profitable or not profitable, or just break even. Because you're going to get some really low cost per purchases. So this is pretty much what I do. I do 75 and 95% video views, 3, 7, 10, 30, 60, and even 180 days. Because my store's been running a long time, so you'd be surprised. I mean, some of the best purchases and some of the highest ROAS I've had was from the 180 days, 75% video views. So give it a shot. It doesn't work for everybody, but it definitely worked for me. Because people might have seen my ad 6 months ago and never even thought about it, but I'm reaching them again for a very low cost. So I always do that. It definitely helps. Website visitors, same thing, 3, 7, 10, 30 days. And you obviously want to exclude purchases for all of these, because someone saw your ad, you don't really want them to see it again after they purchased. Now I don't do that all the time, because sometimes what I'll do, especially like in my cold audiences, I definitely don't do that. Some people say that so that, because you want to exclude people to try to reach more audiences, but you want people to come back and see your ads after they bought, because if you have a great product, because they will comment, and that's one of the things that's really made my store take off is all those comments. And what I'll do is, because I've had some incredible comments, people saying it's done this and done that, it's been so great, amazing product, great customer service. And what I'll do is I'll take a screen capture of the Facebook comments and I'll put it onto the page in Zipify, and I'll have like a little section where there's I think I have like 9 screenshots of the best comments. That helps a lot with conversions, obviously, and it helps when people are reading those comments and makes them click over to your ad. So, and then another thing you can do is you can actually run a PPE campaign and just target people who purchased. So to try to get that engagement on, especially on new ads that you're running, new creatives. When I run the add to cart, I go ahead and when I retarget them, I give them a discount. Um, Sometimes I usually don't do it for 3 days. I'll have a different ad for 3 days because they might still purchase without that. Although I am doing abandoned cart sequences through email. So either way, I mean, if a discount brings them back at a low cost to buy, just do it. It's worth it. A lot of times that's the push they need to get them to purchase. Like me personally, I'm always looking for a discount no matter what I'm trying to buy. That's just my nature. And it's funny, some people just don't even care. They like the product so much that like I see retargeting ads where I'm offering them like 10, 15%, and they don't even use it. It's insane. I don't know if they just don't notice it or they don't even care. I don't know. So initiate checkout, same thing. And this is an awesome one. This is one I tried out myself as a test, and it's been one of my best performers. So what you want to do, you want to set up a custom audience in Facebook for view content, and then the frequency. You want to break it down by frequency and say is equal to or greater than 2 for view content. So it'll create an audience that has seen your ad 2 or more times, or it has not your ad. I'm sorry, has been to your page um, 2 or more times, and that's great because if they've come twice and then you want to exclude purchases and they haven't bought, usually you're gonna get them the third or fourth time. So try that one out. Really, really good one. Definitely helps a lot. Let's go back to the ads. Move on to day 10. Guys, this is kind of a case study kind of deal. So I'm just gonna go through a lot of the days, and anything that pops up in my head I can think of definitely be helpful for you guys. So now, like, look today. Like today was an insane retargeting day. I spent $23, and sometimes retargeting just doesn't spend much, because there's only limited audiences that it can reach that day. But I got 8 purchases, which for 22 return on ad spend, which is insane. So spent almost 600 for the day, 32 purchases. Now, yeah, I mean, you can see that retargeting was really helped because I only had 2.6 return on ad spend that day for my scaling and cold audiences. So that's what took me over 3. Helped a lot. So like I said, do your retargeting early and be aggressive with it. Let's go on to day 11. Another solid day. Spent a lot more. Well, not a lot more. $36. Only got 3 purchases, but still really good return. Overall, really good day. 45 purchases. Okay. Yeah, still everything's looking good. 6 retargeting. Spent $40. Still, when you look at that, the cost per purchase is it's like $7. That's insane. You have to remember this is a $60 product, so my profit on that is just fantastic. So July 13th, looking at got up to $830 spent, 51 purchases, 3.6 ROAS, $3,000 day. Really good day. I can't mention enough. The retargeting is incredible. $35 spent for 10 purchases, 17 ROAS. So that's awesome. This whole time I'm still running PPE, but not a lot. Just enough just to get some engagement going. All right, let's see. At this point, it looks like I'm running mostly. No, it's pretty much a split between lookalikes and interests. Um, I did. There's a bit of a Facebook hack. I can't get into it now. It takes a while to show you, where I was able to find interests that are not even shown on Facebook. You have to use like the Facebook developer tools and stuff like that. It's not crazy complicated, but I might show that in one of my next videos. But I was able to find these really targeted audiences, like really they were smaller, but when you stack them up, they become a decent size. But they're just so targeted, and they're not even shown on Facebook. Like you can't even see them. The only way you can do, you have to actually like copy and paste or type the exact thing. But they're not in suggestions, and they're not even in audience insights. It's crazy. So using that, I was able to get some good ROAS. You can see this was one of them. I was able to get a 7, almost 8 ROAS, 5. This is a 5% clicked call to action, 180 days lookalike. Spent $59, got 10 purchases, really good return on ad spend on that one. And I mean, look, you got a $6 cost per purchase that day. It's um, to me, LLAs are the way to go. So the sooner you can start testing with those, the better. Um, this one, it looks like it's. I did a breakdown where I broke it down by whatever it was. I'll go into the breakdown tab and look at. Usually, I'll start by age, and I'll see what ages are performing the best, and then from there, I usually do one at a time. And break it down by age and then platform, and if I see Instagram is working really well, then I'll create a whole new ad set and just target Instagram on that one. So this one looks like I did a super LLA, which is when you add two LLAs together. I did a click the CTA and add to cart together, 2%. So that seemed to have really good ROAS too. I mean, spent $44, got 3 purchases. It looks like I was testing with smaller budgets here on some of these. This was another one of those right here. This one got 2 purchases, but I mean, only spent $20. I was testing, and this was one of those smaller audiences, so those work also. But like I was saying, hard to scale those there. So, all right, let's move on. So it looks like go back to the spent about $600. Really good day. This is on a Sunday. Sundays are usually my best days. Um, Today's actually Saturdays. Saturdays I don't know why, but they're not that great. Mondays are good for me. Tuesdays are usually awful. Wednesdays are good. Thursdays are decent. Fridays are good. So I think sometimes on Saturdays people are just out of the house. They're not really sitting around, on Facebook. So Sundays a lot of people tend to be home. So a really good day. 52 purchases. And guys, I mean, like, I'm not showing you crazy numbers like some of the gurus show. Where they're getting hundreds a day. I've tried to take it. I mean, the more I spend, it doesn't mean the more return I get. I focus on trying to stay profitable. Just throwing money at it doesn't work. Also because it's a niche audience, so it's not like some broad product where everybody would want it. So there's limitations to my audience. But like I said, this store has been running for a while now. This is only one of my ad accounts. If I look at the lifetime, I've spent $95,000 at a return of almost $300,000, and it's 3 ROAS, which is really good. So that's, like I said, that's the advantage of having a long-term niche type store, and then not to mention, like I said, all the affiliate money I've gotten from that also, and then emailing your audience, things like that. So, all right, moving along. Actually, let's see how today's doing. Today is not a good day at all. It's Saturday, so still profitable, so can't complain. Only 22 purchases. Yeah, it's I don't know. One of those days. Tomorrow should be much better. I did run a whole bunch of new ad sets, but I mean, this morning I think I killed like seven of them. So they just weren't performing. So tomorrow I'll test some new ones. All right, moving along. Let's go to 18th. Purchases. Oh, sorry, that's August 18th. Going to the future. That won't work. Okay. All right, spent. Looks like I had a bit of a drop in ROAS. Looks like was definitely like it was a Monday, so I usually have good days on Monday. So looks like I was testing a bunch of new ad sets most likely. Let's see here. Yeah, some of them were just dropping off, not doing well. So like this one definitely didn't have a good day. Yeah, it looks like I increased the budget on this one, and sometimes that can have a negative effect because sometimes it's just not ready to scale. That particular ad set is not ready to scale past a certain number. A lot of times, like my ad sets won't scale past like $100 per day, which is fine. And then I'll take it back to where it was, and I do duplication also. Um, but sometimes the dupes don't work. You got to dupe it like 3 4 times and see which ones stick. And sometimes you spend a bunch of money and none of them are working. So I mean, like Facebook is they created the platform and it wasn't really meant for duplication. It was meant to increase the budget. Now, like I said, sometimes it just doesn't work out really well. It could take a day or two to re-optimize. So that's why sometimes people just turn them off because they're not performing well. But in my experience, when you give it a little time and you're not super aggressive with the budget, if you're not taking it up like $100 each day or even like 50, just do a percentage. All right, so let's see. Yeah, it looks like pretty much the same ads are running, and I added a few ones that just didn't perform. Like I spent some money and just weren't doing that well. You see a lot of this one spent $50 on one purchase, so not great. Another thing I want to mention is when you're scaling, the first thing you want to do after like a few days is before you start turn off an ad set because it's not doing well. Go into the ad set and look at the actual ads. You want to start killing things based on the performance of the ad first. If because like I said, I always have 3 4 ads running. Um, and you might see like one is spending a bunch of money and not really doing well, and the other one's doing well, and another one's like not even spending any money at all. So after a few days, I'll kill the bad assets, let the good one run. That way, you'll get your ROAS profitable again, hopefully. Okay, let's go to the 19th. Looks like I did a lot of testing that day and didn't work out. As my ROAS dropped quite a bit. Still had 40 purchases, but just barely profitable, slightly, because I almost spent $1,000 that day. Um, spent $60 in retargeting and only got 6 purchases, so not as good as I usually do. It looks like I tested some CBOs, and along the way I've tested a bunch of CBOs, and they're just awful. I know people have good luck with CBOs, but to me they're just not ready. They're not ready. That's why they got pushed back to February, just like I knew they would. because they're not going to force you to use them when they're not ready. They're definitely not ready yet. So I'm not going to be the guinea pig and test CBOs for Facebook. I sorry. Just so, if it works for you, definitely test it. Like, this one spent $69 and got me 2 purchases. That's awful. So that definitely hurt my ROAS that day. Spent $70 and barely made anything in return. Let's see. Yeah, so I was just running a ton of ads, and you know, some were doing really well, some were just really not. And you're gonna have days like that. You're not gonna be profitable every day. So, you gotta look at it at a long term, like how the month turn out. Let's go to the 20th. This is on a Saturday. Still spending a lot. ROAS is creeping up. Um, okay, so look, I tried a CBO that day and actually did really well. Um, Spent $183 and got 11 purchases. So let me check out the CBO. And like I said, my experience with CBOs is they'll do well for a little bit and they just don't retain. And it looks like I started killing off the bad ad sets after a while, and they had a good day. I will mention, like, when you do test CBOs, I just noticed they don't really do well on small budgets. Like $50 CBO, I've never seen it do anything. I've always started $150 or higher. So I mean, this was definitely a good day for the CBO. Let's see. Yeah, ROAS is getting up there, getting almost to 3 again. Um, Nothing wrong with that. And look at that. CBO just died. Next day was awful. Down to less than 2. ROAS spent $180. It's just, hey, that's my experience with CBO. So, anyways, they'll get better. I'm sure they will. Good in retargeting that day. I was doing some catalog dynamic ads, and they did well. Spent $14, got 2 purchases. That's another thing you want to try. You want to do dynamic catalog ads for retargeting. Um, Sometimes they can work. You know, they're definitely worth testing. Let's check this out. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing great here. Nothing. I mean, nothing to when that stands out that day. All right. ROAS went back up on this day. Great retargeting. 9 purchases. $40 spent. And looking back, I really wish, like, as the retargeting was working so well, I wish I was spending more. I wish I was spending, you know, almost $100, profitably. Um, because I mean that's what made a huge difference. Oh, it looks like I tried another CBO, didn't do that great. So, like I said, I was always trying CBOs. Got a sale here from the catalog sales retargeting with good ROAS. So overall, really good day. And that's the thing. You want all these different things to work together. Um, and if you'll notice, uh, pretty much, I mean, every single day I was running um, PPE campaigns, and they don't get sales. They just once in a blue moon you get a sale and you'll be happy about it. You're like, oh wow, got a sale from it. They're not meant for sales. So some people teach like running a bunch of PPO. I don't even know how that's gonna work. To me, if you're running PPO, um, you're messing up your pixel. That's the way I see it. You're bringing in people that are not buyers. You know, and because the people, they don't just engage, they click. You'll see. I mean, they'll click and they'll go to your site, but they never buy anything because Facebook is that incredible of an algorithm. It knows who are buyers. You know, it groups them into buckets, and it knows that okay, these are engaged. These people do engage with ads a lot. They like ads. They do this and that, but they're not purchasers. That's just how it is. So don't expect a lot of purchases from PPE. That was one of my first mistakes I made. When I first started doing Facebook ads, everybody was teaching PPE this, PPE that, and they were like, don't even go to purchases at first. Do PPE. And I still have it. I had a hoodie site, and I was selling some hoodies, and I had this hoodie, and it was doing incredible as far as PPE goes. It was getting thousands of likes per day, and I was baffled why I was getting like one purchase. I was getting like 3,000 views to my site a day, and I was getting one or maybe two, three purchases. I was like, this is insane. Looking back, I wish I had run a purchase conversion campaign also, but that was literally like my first store, first product. So learning, it took time to test everything and learn, but go straight to purchase. Don't try to get purchases from PPE. All right, 23rd. Little drop today. Um, yeah, looks like the retargeting saved me from having a pretty crappy day. I mean, if you notice that it's not really like huge loss kind of days, just not so profitable. So, oh well, I explained that's a Tuesday. Tuesdays are just garbage. I honestly dread Tuesdays for e-commerce. They're just so bad. Um, Today was not a good day at all. So let me see. It looks like I killed a lot of ads on this day. I think that that Tuesday probably hurt a lot, and then it just continued to might have got complacent and not run too many new ads. That happens. So it actually didn't look like I was spending much. All right, so we're moving along. Looks like July 26th, getting close to the end of the month here. Um, this day, didn't spend a whole lot, but got a decent amount of purchases and a good ROAS. And anytime you're profitable, it's a good day. So you take that. Let's see. Moving along. Let's check out Saturday. Yeah, so it looks like a bunch of new ads running. All profitable. Not all profitable, but profitable day altogether. 3.6 ROAS, really good. 44 purchases. Let's check out some of these ads. So it looks like I did a 5% super LLA. Check this one out. So this was a huge audience, 11 million people. Yeah. So when you stack LLAs, it can really work out. So I did a 5% purchase, 180 days, and I combined it with Instagram engagement poster ad, 60 days. And I just like to test these things, and sometimes you just have incredible results with them. So that was a really good one. I mean, look at almost 6 ROAS. That's amazing. So spend $95, got 11 purchases. You honestly can't beat that. So I mean, I'm to the point where I mostly just scale with lookalikes, but you always want to be testing interest also. But your most profitable ad sets are going to be lookalike audiences. At this point, I think I started. I think that dip that I had or a few days was when I was introducing new ad sets and new creatives. And sometimes when I do that, um, because it'll start spending on the new creatives, and it takes them a few days to start performing because a lot of times I will start with PPE on the new creatives just to get them some give them a little boost as far as comments and likes and social proof. So the social proof is a big thing. So uh, and I think some of the creatives just weren't really working out. So I'm always trying to come up with new angles. I'll come up with like real professional looking ads, and then sometimes I'll do something with like a little bit funny. But the key is you really want to capture them in the first 3 to 5 seconds. You want to grab their attention. So sometimes I'll have just something kind of crazy or something just funny, and just to make sure that I grab their attention, and they keep watching. And one thing I noticed sometimes the thumbnails that you think are gonna work don't, because like I put together some professional looking, like nice looking thumbnails, and then it's like the weird looking ones that just kind of they just look kind of tacky. Those are the ones that just get people's attention. So thumbnails are important. You want it to grab their attention. Sometimes you want it to be like a little vague as to what it is too. You know what I mean? Just so that you get that click through. All right, so moving on. Another good day. 46 purchases, over 3 ROAS. That's always good. My cost per purchase is $16. So, and my profit margin is like $27. One thing I'll mention is um, I started testing using the Sweet Upsell app, which is a post purchase upsell app. I mean, $800 doesn't sound like anything, especially with 75,000 in revenue, but that little bit helps. And this upcoming month, I'm going to be testing a few other ones like the Zipify one. And I've tried that one in the past and didn't really have great luck with it. I had some issues with PayPal and stuff like that, but it definitely helps because like this is pretty much almost all profit because I'm spending very little on the product. And my margins are insane. I think a lot of these products, they cost like $3, and the upsell, I give them like a pretty big discount to get them to buy. I think it's like $15, so it's a good amount of profit. It just definitely helps your bottom line. So you definitely want to have some kind of post purchase upsell app, whichever one you like. Sweet Upsell is it's really inexpensive compared to some of the other ones, and it works well. So try that out. That things like that help with your bottom line. So let's just check out some of these ads. This was one of my biggest performers, I think, overall. Let me just look at like the lifetime of this one. I remember this is another super LLA. I did a 10% and a 2%. So a really broad one and a pretty tight one as far as the 2% goes. And I had really good performance on that one. Got 107 purchases with almost a 3.5 ROAS, which is really good. And whenever you can get that many purchases off one ad set and it's still profitable, it's really good because ad sets do tend to die pretty quickly. So try that one out. Let me actually look inside this ad set. It looks like I did a 10% purchase, 2% add to cart, 60 days. So it's a huge audience, and like I was saying before, sometimes what you can do is add some interest into that to take it down some, and that really works too. But you want the interest to be broad interest. You don't want them to be anything less than a couple million, because you still want, there's 19 million people. That's a lot of people, but Facebook likes big audiences. It really does. When scaling, really mostly when scaling, because once you have all that data, it needs a big audience of people to find those pockets of buyers for you. All right, let's see. Go back to this is just actually my last week. It hasn't been a great. August is just slow. A lot of people going back to school. Let me see what I've done this month. Month to date. So I mean, 35,000. I mean, definitely a big drop from last month. But like I said, August is just awful. It's one of the slowest months in e-commerce. So you still got people on vacation. You still got people, you've got people going back to school. It's just not a lot of buyers. Honestly, just trying to get to Q4. Fourth quarter is where it's all at. So, all right. So let's go back to July. That's Sunday. Yeah, another really good day. 46 purchases. Monday. Still really good for a Monday. Like I said, Mondays are pretty good for me. Anytime I'm getting a 3 ROAS or above, I'm happy. And on to the 30th. Still another good day. 55 purchases. Wow, that's a really good day. Almost 4 ROAS. You have to understand, guys. When I first started, I was happy to get like a few purchases a day. So getting up to 55, 60, and above is really good, especially for this time of year. And it's the last day of the month. Spent a good amount of money. It looks like I was trying to really, end it on a good note. Still good. ROAS dropped a bit, but overall, still a really good month. And that's pretty much it. You can look at a whole month, about 21,000 spent. So guys, I just want to go over a few tips for your Shopify store. That should help you out. It's really important that your store is really branded looking. It has to look professional. No one's gonna buy from some crap shit store that looks like some amateur put it together. So take the time, create a really good store. If you have to pay someone if you're not good at that stuff. I've created all my own stores. I have a knack for doing it. So definitely do that. No countdown timers or any spammy junk like that. Those days are over. I've seen it still work, but it's for like certain like strange products. Like if you're doing a niche store, you don't want to do that. You don't go to have you ever been to like a real niche store and seen that kind of stuff? No, you don't see that. So you're creating a brand here, something that you can sell for multiple 6 figures, 7 figures down the line. You know what I mean? I'm seeing Shopify stores selling every day for $400,000 or $500,000. So after being open for a year, so I mean that's the end goal in my opinion. You want to create a real brand. Definitely get an 800 number on your site. That's really cheap. It's like $10. There's a ton of places that do it. What I like to do is I hire somebody on Fiverr to record a voicemail, and it'll say, thank you for calling blah 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 store. Please leave your email, leave your name and your email, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And you hire somebody with a professional voiceover, and that's really good, because you don't have to answer the phone. You're not going to want to answer the phone, honestly. People call my store all the time, or my number all the time. It's usually because they it's, they're trying to track an order, but I mean, I have all that tracking in the emails, and sometimes they just don't see it, or more than anything, they're trying to order and they can't, for whatever reason. Sometimes it's older customers that have trouble with technology and stuff like that. So um, you definitely, you also want a professional email address. Obviously, that's just goes without saying. You're not going to put some Gmail account on your website. That's absurd. Get a professional looking logo, create it, don't go and create it yourself on Canva or whatever. That's ridiculous. I don't see how people do that. Pay somebody. You don't have to pay a lot. I've paid. There's tons of people on Fiverr. They're really talented. They can get you a one for 30, 40, 50 bucks. Um, and I recently had mine redone. I spent a little bit more. I hired somebody that was a little bit better. I spent him like $100 and did a really good job. Gave me like 3, 4 different options. So, as your store grows and gets better, you might even want to consider doing like 99 designs, paying a little bit more, and then they'll 99 designs is awesome because they'll give you, it's like a contest, and they'll give you all kinds of options. Everybody's trying to compete um, to get that order, and you can pick the best one. Um, I know people say you can use a free theme, and you definitely can. It's definitely doable. Shopify does have some really good themes. In my experience, when I bought a paid theme and I use Shoptimized, um, it's the only one I've had any experience with. I know Turbo's a good one, and there's a lot of others, but I noticed it's just the speed alone is it's just so much better. Um, so to me, it's worth it because it's not really that expensive, and it's easier to work with in my opinion. It's just easy to. There's so many different things that you can do, a lot of options. So do that. Another tip I would say is this is definitely worth looking into. Um, just go on Fiverr. You can hire a developer. They're always overseas, but so they're really cheap to optimize your site. And like I had this done recently, man. He improved my site speed so much. It was fantastic. I think I paid him $35. It was insane. You know, um, they do amazing work. Um, so look into those, and that should definitely help you out. All right, guys. So I just want to wrap this up. So I just wanted to show you a little breakdown of last month. Um, and the month before I did about 50,000, so it was a good month also. Um, I did take a break from the store for a few months because I did have some supplier issues, and um, I I started an FBA business, which is starting to do really well. And it just shows you the power of Facebook ads because I've been able to rank two products on Amazon FBA. Um, Actually, one of them is new. I'm trying to rank it now, but the other one is able to rank it using mostly Facebook ads. And it's incredibly powerful because there's a lot of people on Amazon, especially the Chinese sellers that they don't know how to do Facebook ads. So definitely have an advantage by doing that. So Facebook is just it's just an unbelievable tool for e-commerce all around for Shopify and even Amazon. Because when you're getting all those sales, there are discounted sales because you're still you're going to lose a little bit of money for the first few months. That's just kind of how it is with almost any business, really. Um, your your point is to start ranking, and using Facebook to do that is really great. I don't want to talk about FBA too much. This is more of a Shopify thing. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it brought a lot of value. If you can drop a like and subscribe, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.